afternoon, I'm Detective Taylor, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside APD. We have a great show lined up for you today as we talk about missing person investigations and the Texas State Network Silver Alert System. Before we get into that, however, let's talk about this week in APD news. Do you recognize the man in this video? Arlington police detectives are asking for the public's help in identifying this suspect who broke into a bait vehicle and stole several items from the vehicle. This incident occurred a couple of months ago in the 900 block of East Timberview Lane. The man has numerous tattoos on both arms that could help identify him. If this suspect looks familiar, please contact Arlington Police Detective Charlie Tudor at 817-459-5308 or submit an anonymous Crime Stoppers tip at 817-469-TIPS. Tipsters are eligible for up to a $1,000 reward. We want to highlight the great work that our South Patrol district officers did on Sunday. An armed robbery in progress call came out at a motel near Cooper Street in Oak Village. As officers were responding to the call, the suspect attempted to flee in a vehicle. The suspect actually jumped out of his moving car in an attempt to escape capture. Officers were right on his tail and they caught him. They also recovered the firearm used in the robbery. Great work, South District officers. As we look back on the 3rd anniversary of losing Officer Craig's story, we want to take a minute and remember what kind of role model he was. Craig, a 7-year veteran, died as a result of a tragic accident on his police motorcycle on January 13, 2010. Craig was a husband, a father, and a wonderful friend to many. He was dedicated to keeping the residents of Arlington safe. The Arlington Police Department and Arlington Police Association placed a wreath at the site where the incident occurred. Craig, we really miss you. Please follow us on Twitter by going to @ArlingtonPD or like us on Facebook. We invite you to join in our conversation 24/7, 365. Once again, welcome to This Week on Inside APD. I'm this week's host, Detective Taylor, and joining us in studio today is Investigator Diane Brown. Welcome to the show, Diane.
Hi, Taylor. Good to see you.
You too. If you would, just describe your role here at APD.
Okay, I'm a homicide investigator. I've been in homicide for 15 years now, and I've been with Arlington PD for 17 years.
Wonderful. Well, Diane, the purpose of today's show is to talk about a sensitive subject in the community that not a lot of people like to talk about, and that is missing persons and the Texas State Network Silver Alert System. Yeah. Could you describe to us what happens when an individual, a citizen, calls 911 to report their loved one missing?
Yes, typically patrol goes out and obtain all the information that's needed for the report. You know, whether the location they was missing from, if they're in a vehicle, if the person have any type of mental disabilities, things of that nature. They pretty much gather all the information that we need to begin our investigation.
Diane, I understand that there's a lot of certain criteria that must be met to activate the Silver Alert system. Can you walk us through that process?
Yes, typically what will happen is that once patrol take the initial report and gather all the information is sent to investigations to our unit, and we determine from there if that person meets all the criteria that is set forth by Texas DPS. Then we will submit that information to the State Operations Center in Austin, and they make the determination if that person is in fact eligible for the Silver Alert.
So if a citizen of Arlington is wanting to report a loved one missing or see if they qualify for the Silver Alert system, what would they need to know to go about that process?
Well, one of the things that Texas DPS requires is that they have medical documentation that this person has been diagnosed, that if he or she is out there, that they does pose a threat to themselves. If they are Alzheimer's patients or patients that's been diagnosed with dementia, or typically the type of individuals that will be qualified for Silver Alert.
Well, Diane, you've given us some great information that the public should be able to use in the event that their loved one become missing. Is there anything additional that APD can do should their loved one not meet the criteria for a silver alert?
Yes, Taylor, even if the family doesn't meet the criteria for the silver alert, we can still push their information out to the local news media.
Diane, can you tell us about an instance in which APD actually activated the silver alert system?
Yes, back in December 2012, we had to activate the silver alert on a 77-year-old missing lady here in Arlington. We had Arlington PD came out and forced officers, first responders. We had lots of volunteers. We've even used the search and rescue team and the search dogs. Unfortunately, it wasn't the resolution that we wanted, but we did locate her.
Diane, we want to thank you for being so informative on a topic that's fairly delicate. It's obvious that Arlington Police takes these situations very seriously when they arise, so thank you for being here.
Thank you, Taylor, and always be safe.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Please join us next week as Officer Sherry Arteezy serves as your host, and the topic is on our Homeland Security Special Events Unit.